Egypt goes imperialist and plans to expand across the Nile, Blue Nile, White Nile, and the Great Lakes around Tanzania right here. All of them, obviously, because they go down a bit further. And trade dominance to compete with Mediterranean powers. They will go from pathetic to great. Thus, they earn 500,000 troops to Sudan's border. Sudan is shocked as war is about to start. Well, subscribe and let's get into it and see what they do. And with that, thus they move down into the south towards Khartoum, where the Blue and White Nile meet. As they launch a spearhead down there, rapidly they push towards Khartoum. From the north of Khartoum, they start their encirclement. Meanwhile, down the coast, they move towards Port Sudan. With their front looking like this, they cut across here, cutting off not hundreds of thousands. Sudan only has like 100,000 troops on this. As they're destroying Sudan in the north, and near Khartoum, which they finally encircle, thus securing it. With that, they move in, and thus they move into Darfur areas, like Al Fashar, I think that city, or this city is called. And well, Sudan surrenders. And well, before we do anything, they also invade Eritrea. You might be saying, why Eritrea? What did Eritrea do? Well, they did nothing. And with it, they quickly move into Asmara, the capital. And then they move south. Well, I think that's the name of the city. And like the greedy imperialists they are, they annex it all. And well, this is a very big empire. And well, thus, after securing Sudan, they gain access to crucial gold. Or is it crucial? They just want money. And they like to force the Sudanese people to mine it for the empire. They now turn their eyes on Ethiopia to take their hydroelectric potential. They are stealing like the British. Pigs. And well, they advance rapidly into the south. They attack Ethiopia, quickly seizing the north. To push towards, they move in. To push towards Addis from this front. In the north, they push into the Tigray region, seizing cities. As they move in from here towards Addis, and from here, while they're doing this, they seize Djibouti, thus managing to seize more lands here. And they connect these two fronts. Thus, with Ethiopia's capital being encircled, it falls. And while here, more falls, and Ethiopia begins to collapse. And you might be saying, surely they're not fully annexing this unstable area. Well, I guess you're wrong. Because they do. And well, after this, they decide to take over South Sudan, which may or may not spark something. You might be wondering, why South Sudan? What did South Sudan do? They did nothing. As the Egyptian Empire continues south. But they better be ready for the next thing. As they thus manage to gain more land. All of Sudan, all of Ethiopia, all of Eritrea, all of Djibouti. Looks like this, but with rapid expansion. Surrounding nations get worried, thus forming the Grand Coalition, which includes unlikely allies, thus Italy, Turkey, Cyprus, Greece, Libya, Tunisia, Israel, Palestine, Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Somalia, all decide to join together, along with Uganda, Kenya, Rwanda, Burundi, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and yeah. You might be like, how big is this coalition? And well, will they align, thus stopping offing each other? That sounds very unstable. Just look at the nations. What kind of cursed alliance is this? Well, we can see they all hate each other, for a lack of better words. But with Egypt shocked out 1.4 million troops are on their border, they only have 750,000 troops. But numbers aren't all they realize. They let them advance up the White and Blue Niles, plotting encirclements to destroy the numbers. In the north, they plan to hold at the Suez Canal and hold Libya in the west. Egypt starts conscription. There will be 900,000 troops. But First Coalition at 1.5 million troops. They better watch it or they will fall. And well, let's start with Egypt's defense. They managed to hold the Libya front after a small offensive. Well, two offensives. One, oh, three. 1, 2, 3. With them stalling it out over here. And from this front, Israel launches a quick offensive with its enemies. This is weird. As they push to the Suez Canal. Both of these areas, the front stalls at. In fact, this front here comes more like this. Now in the south, they advance up the rivers. I think something like this. And towards Ethiopia. With Somalia launching an invasion of a greater Somalia. Yeah. But what they don't realize is the southern advance is not stable because, well, fronts are not stable. With parts of Ethiopia taken, but a big chunk of like 30,000 troops get encircled here. And then another encirclement, thus bringing down that force a lot. And well, they then march to push them to a better area to defend, with them pushing them back to here, with South Sudan's capital falling with an encirclement. And in the north, they get ready for their first offensive. And this offensive is in the north. And it is successful. You might be saying, what? Why? How? Well, they move then in the north, thus causing these areas to have to abandon positions. And they focus mainly on the north. Well, they quickly move in to take this city, and then they move to Tripoli, taking it. With European troops deciding to evacuate, leaving Libya alone, and Tunisia falls. With Libya capitulating, and thus Egypt has greatly gained so far. Well, let's check in with what the situation is. As the tides have turned, Egypt is now at 1.4 million troops, but the coalition is at 1.3 million troops. They plan invading the African nations before the Levantine. From there, they move 800,000 troops to the south and 400,000 troops north. Italy and Turkey begins conscription. So let's go to the first nation to fall in the south. And well, they managed to retake these lands. Even started a bit of an offensive into Kenya, in Somalia. Thus, this front falls, with the Somalia campaign beginning. with Somalia now on death's door, basically. With them moving into the capital, quickly they manage to seize Somaliland, and then they move into the capital, thus seizing it. And thus Somalia collapses. And with this is a major defeat. And well, at this point, they begin to push into Uganda, Rwanda, and Burundi. This being a major offensive to cut off the two allies. As they manage to advance rapidly towards Uganda's capital, Kampala, whatever it is. As they move in, take Rwanda's capital, Burundi's capital, Goma, and areas around it, thus collapsing these. And thus, at this point, the fall of Kenya, with Kenya's capital being taken by two fronts. Nairobi, yeah. As they take it, thus they seize this, pushing the front all the way to where Tanzania holds it. And at this point, they invade the Democratic Republic of Congo. And quickly they take this northern area. With the Democratic Republic of the Congo being completely decimated in the north. And war criminals are probably there. And this lake gets seized on both sides. The invasion of Tanzania begins, with them pushing towards the capital, managing to destroy the army, with them in the Democratic Republic of Congo, leaving the war. Thus securing the victory of Egypt's forces in the region as they reign strong over these lands. And while at this point, Greece leaves the war. Greece exits the war now. I guess they don't like fighting with Turkey. Turkey, and it's your fault. Let's just be honest. And Turkey's like, no. And I'm like, yes. And Turkey's like, no. And I'm like, yes. And you might be wondering, what now? Oh, Egypt is now ready for the north. And at 1.8 million troops, while the coalition's at 1.5 million troops. The northern front is chaos. Crossing the Suez Canal, the Levantine invasion begins before they go after Saudi Arabia and Turkey. With them seizing back these lands, the Sinai Peninsula, and then moving into Israel, Palestine, whatever you want to call it. Taking Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, Rafah, Gaza, Jerusalem. Yeah. And quickly moving into Lebanon and Syria, seizing their capitals. And in Saudi Arabia, they move south. As they move in, they then decide to take the coast. As they take major cities like Jeddah, Mecca, Medina. And well, from here, they launch a rapid offensive capturing Riyadh. With Riyadh falling, thus they go to war with Turkey. With Turkish forces being rapidly kicked out of Syria. And as you can see, look at how much land they occupy. The red means full nations fallen. But as you can see, Italy, yeah, I don't think you're winning. With them quickly landing in Turkey. Where do they land? Oh, they land in the Bosphorus Strait. I wonder who helped them. Oh, Greece did. As they use this offensive to move up north into Turkish Thrace, thus moving towards and taking Istanbul. A landing in the south just helps them seize these parts, while now on this front and this front they head towards Ankara, quickly seizing the city. Well, Italy, are you ready? Yeah. Sicily will fall. Well, as you can see, this empire is global, with them moving into Sicily and seizing Sardinia. Thus, now the invasion of Italy begins, because Italy's pathetic, just like World War II. And they quickly manage to move in, seizing Naples on the advance towards Rome. Eventually, the cowards in charge of Italy end up giving up. And they force peace. So let's see the peace treaty. Land in Africa in the south, including all of Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, and Somalia. North annexed all Libya and Tunisia, parts of Naples, Italy, and Sicily, parts of Anatolia, basically all of the Levantine area, and down the coast. And well, as Egypt now, as 2034, has formed a new empire and an imperialist threat. They gain multiple resources, and like the Brits, they steal. Like Westerners and Easterners, they steal from the weak. Well, if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe, and click the notification bell to not miss future uploads. Like France in World War II. Losers. But, on a serious note, we see America Paranoia return Thursday, and Alternate Future of the World on July 13th. Also, leave a comment and your thoughts and theories. Wild Mapper